Welcome back to the live stage at Emerald City Comicon. My name is Mike Avila with SYFY WIRE, and we have our final live art jam of the convention happening right now, and we're going out with a bang. We've got two rock star artists here on stage, Tommy Lee Edwards and Jim Mahfood, here to do something so fabulous and so random, they're still trying to figure out exactly what they're going to draw.
Exactly.
No, have you guys figured out what you're going to do?
We have a rough idea.
Yeah.
I forgot we're mic'd. Yeah.
And what is it?
Like, that's
and what is
powerful mic right there.
We're gonna do a Mad Max remix style piece.
Yeah. So it'll be, hopefully you can tell who it's supposed to be, but maybe we'll give it our own flair.
Yes.
And you're going to use every single thing on this table, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well,
That just happened to be in Jim's backpack.
This is just what I carry with me at all times. So who
there's
knows?
not one, there's two toothbrushes
Yeah.
in the backpack. Okay, well, go ahead. How do you guys begin something like this? Jim, we've done this before with you, and you get a kick out of the whole live art performance thing.
Yes.
Performance art. Sorry, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
It's late.
No, you're good.
So how do you guys begin this?
We have a very brief, panicked discussion about general composition, and then we just start drawing. Like, as I talk, I'm actually just stalling so that Tommy starts, so that I see what his general kind of layout situation's gonna be. But
I might not do a full body.
okay,
Like,
right? Yeah, we're good.
so I'm done.
We're good. This is the piece, guys. We've moved into a new abstract.
It's open to your own interpretation.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to point out, you're not distracted checking your text or Twitter, Jim. You're looking at your phone for reference material because we literally decided on a subject for them to draw like 2 minutes before we went live. So.
Yeah. I know Furiosa, but I need all the little details in the photo to pull it together, but we'll make this work. It'll be fine.
Okay, so he's
Is
gonna
that
be.
something that your fans, the fans of any artist might take for granted when they come up to you at a convention and ask for a commission? Hey, draw the Rocketeer. I bring that up, Tommy, because I know you get a lot of Rocketeer commission requests because he's awesome. But it's like, if you don't draw him on a regular basis, it's kind of hard to just, have it in your head and to get it accurate, correct?
That's very true. Especially if, let's say someone only really knows the movie stuff and they might want that specifically. So sometimes, they might want, the jetpack to look like the movie versus Dave Stevens' version of the jetpack or something. So yeah, it's especially with Star Wars and all that kind of stuff, you got to make sure it's done the right way.
What's the one character you get asked to draw that you just put your head on the table and say, no?
Ooh. I generally get good requests because people want me to do strange things, strange non-traditional things. So I did everything from OMAC to Spider-Man to...
OMAC? Wow.
Yeah, Kirby, man.
That's a deep one.
And Kirby you can get real psychedelic and weird with, open to interpretation, so that's perfect. I don't like doing overly technical things like Metal Gear Solid or video game where it's all mech and techie stuff. That becomes a bit much. But most heroes and most stuff I get asked to do are open to my interpretation through my style. So that works.
Yeah, Kirby's Fourth World is probably like tailor-made for you.
Yes, I love all that.
Tommy, how about you? Which request do you dread getting?
Any superheroes.
But you do a lot of superhero covers.
I know, and I really don't. I mean, it's not that I don't enjoy it. I'm not confident with it. So I'm kind of like, give me some sci-fi stuff or more real-world stuff, and I'm a little bit better. But
someone from Marvel and DC might be listening to this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I don't draw like Justice League and whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm just not as, you have to really love that stuff, because it's so time consuming. And here, I'm gonna give him like a gun that comes over here.
So
the thing is though, Mike, Tommy Lee and like Andrew Robinson are sitting right next to me at the show, and these guys are doing like full color Drew Struzan level illustrations as their commission pieces. So it's a whole other level of technical ability happening. And I'm just doing my little like scribble drawings.
Well, no, you're
Very-
short selling yourself, but you are correct about the commission drawings that he's doing, because we mentioned the Rocketeer earlier. Tommy was working on a commission of the Rocketeer, fully painted, right? It was,
Yeah.
or was it colored?
Yeah, it was painted with
It looked like a movie poster.
yeah, acrylic, watercolor, gouache, some of these colored pencils. Today I finished one where I used some pastels, chalk pastels. You can kind of like rub them down on the board and then use some tissues and just kind of get some big areas of color going and stuff, you know. So
Well, Jim's
That's-
on his
I should have brought
phone here.
those.
Let's show a quick progress report. So you've done a layout of the character you're doing,
yeah,
and there's a giant weapon that's bleeding over into Jim's board.
yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I'm glad somebody noticed. Now, why these colored pencils? You did.
Mostly out of necessity, because we're using what Jim brought, luckily. But I do like to draw in color, especially when I'm doing these commissions, because the thing is, like, when you kind of build up like light to dark. Now Jim's going right in with some, I mean, he's got a light pencil drawing there, but he's kind of going right in with some
Yeah.
dark because he's crazy.
I get impatient. I can't like I can't draw.
You like to skip certain steps in the process.
Yeah. Like design, anatomy, composition. Mine is an all or nothing approach where it's like just go in and go for it, and if it fails miserably, you destroy it in a fit of rage, and then. But I can't do that here.
Yeah, I was about
so
to tear
no
this
fits
in
of
half,
rage
but I
here.
can't.
Yeah.
Remember, I do want to point out that these pieces of art, along with all the other pieces of art that have been created here during the convention, we're going to take them to C2E2 in Chicago, and they're going to be auctioned off for charity there.
Wait, what?
Yes, sorry, Tommy. You're doing a freebie.
I was doing this. I was.
But it's for charity. It's for a great cause.
My wife just texted me and said that they're watching this, and my dog is wondering where I am.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Your dog's having a meta moment right
Yeah.
now.
I'm just basically my pencil choice is based on which one is sharp. At this point.
That's a very scientific process. When you have more supplies at your command, there, or nearby, which pencils do you like to use?
Actually, it's funny because Jim and I actually use a lot of the same materials. These are Prismacolor pencils, which are nice because they're kind of nice and waxy.
Yeah.
Oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to her now.
That's awesome.
Wow,
This is going to be just a big ad for all of our
Yeah.
art supply companies. So like Sharpie or Molotov, if you're listening, I am available for sponsorship.
yes.
Hey, while we're plugging stuff, Jim, you have an update on your creator-owned book, Grrl Scouts.
Yes.
Comics. When are we going to see the next installment of the series?
I'm working on that right now, writing and drawing it, and it'll be next year through Image Comics. Grrl Scouts, it's called Stone Ghost, and it's just a continuation
What if this truck came through here?
from the last series. Make it happen. That's awesome.
I mean, she's like super tall.
Yes. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
completely
Now
coordinate.
you have to kind of cheat the perspective on your drawing a little bit to catch up with his
Yeah, maybe.
Furiosa.
Sorry, Tommy.
So I'm thinking,
Jim's making you do most of the work. He's cheating over there
all right, this is
with
going to be
the
a cloud
Sharpies.
coming in.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then maybe we've got some, like canyon, like kind of.
Does it just take so long to make the thing?
Oh,
And
these are Jim Mahfood colors.
Yep. Why do you think I have those? But yeah, that's the only problem, man, is like writing and drawing my own thing. And I'm lettering and coloring this one as well. So it's a huge chunk of work, but I'm excited about it. And I'm doing variant covers right now for Dynamite on the Bionic Woman Meets Charlie's Angels series,
Oh.
Nice.
which is fun and weird and random.
You know, Dynamite puts out a lot of those types of licensed property books, you know, on older shows. That's gonna be kind of fun to work on as an artist. You drop in, you do a killer cover on a property that you probably remember fondly,
Yes.
because you see it through the nostalgia, through the lovely rose-colored glasses of nostalgia.
Right. It's fun, and those guys are like, since the covers don't have to match the interiors, my editor, who's Matt Idelson, who used to be at the Batman office at DC, he's just kind of like, yeah, just do it your way. It's fine. Like, they know what they're getting into, you know.
Favorite angel?
Well, Farrah Fawcett, of course, like whatever her character's name is.
Tommy, your favorite angel?
I don't remember. Higgins?
Is that a thing?
Oh, that's Magnum PI.
Come on. That's not even the right decade.
It's all. Yeah, I don't know. The one that's good with knives?
Yes.
Okay,
Good answer, dude.
fine. We'll give you that one. Tommy, you have some big projects that you're working on as well.
Yeah, well, for me, like, the last kind of interiors I had done in a comic were Mother Panic for DC, but now I'm trying to get some more of my own stuff going in comics. And I'm doing covers for 2 different Star Wars books right now for Marvel. One of them is about TIE fighters and like a squadron of TIE fighters, and it's classic Star Wars, which is fun for me because I've done a lot of Star Wars stuff over the years, and I really enjoy. This is actually kind of fun here.
Yeah.
And my favorite, obviously, is the Star Wars I grew up with, so that stuff is fun. But I've had to do a lot of the prequel stuff, you know, because that's when I was getting work, you know. So it's fun to do. This stuff is kind of the classic stuff, you know.
But the other cover you're doing is for a book, Star Wars: The Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. So it's all stories revolving around. I don't know how much I can say, but it's basically.
Oh, too late now. You're talking.
Yeah. You're in it.
It's basically stories that take place in the world of Galaxy's Edge, the new Disney park, you know. So Disney and Marvel are kind of building up the lore of the world, you know, and so kind of seeing where existing characters, but also new characters and what they might be doing at that time. And so it's fun because then when you go there, it's going to be that much more of a real place, you know. So it's pretty cool. So right now it's just figuring out what everything looks like.
I'm imagining the cover being very intricate, full of a lot of the details in the park.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm trying to make it as authentic to what you're going to actually see in the park as possible.
So
but
in
it's
theory, you've gotten to look at a lot of the details of the Galaxy's Edge.
yeah, except a lot of it hasn't been built yet still, you know, so it's kind of like any sort of licensing thing. Sometimes you have to go from the concept art, you know, so a lot of it's not finished yet.
Does the fee for doing that cover come with like a fast pass? To skip the line at the park?
Sometimes, maybe probably not this one, but I used to do, when they did Star Wars weekends, I did all the posters for Star Wars weekends. So with Mickey flying an X-Wing, you know, and that kind of stuff. So with that, yeah, I would go down and sign posters for people and make a family vacation out of it. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, tell us why the toothbrush works for what you're doing here.
Well, because I don't have another kind of brush.
So it's basically a necessity.
Yeah, but it's actually kind of fun because it's sort of, what I like is that, geez, look at this guy.
There's a skull right here, Tommy. I just want to let you know. There's a skull right there.
Man, what the heck? All right. Just let me get my hand on those
Okay.
those big tools. All right.
He does this all the time. Last year he had Jason and Sean Alexander
Yes.
doing this, and the first thing he tells us is, you know, I'll do most of the talking. Jason's probably just going to concentrate on drawing, and then Jason apparently was having a good time and kept on talking until I said, hey guys, we have 12 minutes left.
Yeah.
And Jim was like 3/4 of the way done, and Jason was what, a quarter of the way through?
He started sweating.
He was sweating, and he really started hustling to finish the drawing.
I mean, we've only been doing this for what, 30 seconds?
Right. Yes. Yeah. The answer is yes.
So that marker you're using, I always kind of wonder about
That's a
those
thick marker
markers,
over there.
Jim. Those are waterproof,
Yes.
permanent markers?
Yeah.
Where do you, looking for another sponsorship for you?
This marker's your friend. This is the Montana acrylic.
Really?
Gets
That's
the-
seriously?
Gets the job done.
Montana?
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tommy, how far into your career did you get before you started getting really comfortable using all these little artist hacks that you're using now?
You're kind of always doing that. I mean, I've never done this much work with a toothbrush before, so that's the thing is like, hey, cool, I'm picking up some new stuff, you know? I mean, but at the same time, like right now, I'm doing some stuff for Adobe. They you know, I use Photoshop and stuff with that they make, and they're developing a new app right now for the for mobile drawing. And so I've been working on this thing and giving them feedback, you know, as they sort of test it out. And right there is like another tool, you know, that I haven't, you know, I don't think I've really mastered any of them. You know, you just kind of see how it goes. But yeah, I think my first comic I ever did was in high school in the early 90s. And, you know, it was a piece of garbage because I did it myself, but with a bunch of, you know, like ballpoint pens and stuff, you know. But that's where you start.
Do you still have that?
I do. It was called 8-Ball because, you know, there was no comics called 8-Ball.
You remember your first attempt at a comic, Jim?
I was doing my own versions of Spider-Man comics when I was a little kid, and my dad would bring them to his work and photocopy them, and then I would sell them to the neighborhood kids for like a quarter. And then my first job in comics, there was actually a small publisher in St. Louis called Artline Studios, and in like '91, I started working for them, just like erasing pages, cleaning up stuff, inking backgrounds. But I was like 15, and it was my first introduction to how comics worked, how comics are made. So these guys kind of like took me under their wing and were like, here's the materials you use, because it was all pre-internet. There was really no way of knowing this stuff, especially being in the Midwest. So these guys kind of showed me the proper tools and techniques, you know. It's almost like being introduced to alchemy or something. It's like you don't know how this stuff is made. It's just a mysterious kind of thing. So that really got me into the side of like discovering how all this stuff is done, you know. And the stuff that we were all doing at that time, it was terrible. But it was like just, you know, grassroots black and white comic, you know, stuff. Early 90s and, but it was cool, man. And you know,
Sure, you were an image kid, so you were getting the inspiration to go out and do your own thing.
yeah. And it was cool because these guys were older than me, so I could travel around the Midwest with them to different conventions. And that kind of allowed me to see how conventions work and artists setting up and selling their art and books and stuff. So once I did that, man, I was hooked. You know, I was on the path.
You guys both spend a lot of time on the road going to comic conventions, which, look, it's part of the job. Were there any artists who kind of showed you the ropes when you first started going to conventions and how to do it the right way and how to, you know, make it as productive a time as possible? Because I think for a lot of younger artists, I would imagine that's a useful thing to have, a mentor who can kind of show you how to do cons the right way.
Tommy?
Not so much about how to do cons, but cons were the first time we got to meet a lot of these guys, you know. So I'm adjusting my mic. Can you hear me?
Do it. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, when I was 19 and I was going to art school in LA, and I met Howard Chaykin at a convention, and he was like probably my biggest influence in the comics in the 80s, like Black Hawk and The Shadow and American Flag and all this stuff. And then basically, I'm helping you.
Perfect, dude.
And then basically what happened was he gave me some really great, feedback on my work and stuff. And then we exchanged information, and then eventually he ended up calling me, and I didn't erase that answer machine message for like 2 years.
Tell me, can I go over here with
Yes,
Doc?
yes.
Cool.
Please.
How are you doing with talking and drawing? It's kind of, it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah, I like it though, and actually, then I like conventions, so there's a convention that a friend of mine and I back in North Carolina, we started that we own back at home called North Carolina Comicon. So, and it's very much based on this kind of stuff, education, basically lots of panels, storytelling,
It's a good show.
how to draw.
It's an awesome show.
Jim,
Yes.
what were some of the lessons you learned early on when you were hitting conventions?
When I was with these Artline guys, it was one of the guys who worked at the company was like a very friendly and charismatic guy, and I learned right away, like, if you're cool and decent to people, that's the way to handle yourself at a booth. Don't be a strange, quiet, isolated weirdo.
That's hard. That's hard.
Hey, that
Sometimes it
seems
is hard.
obvious, but you know what? If you're an artist and you're used to sitting there at a board drawing 15 hours a day, maybe you're not putting as much work into the social aspect of the job.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Promoting your own work, especially nowadays where we're in the midst of the creator-owned comics boom.
Yeah,
Exactly.
totally. But these guys taught me a lot, and then in the mid '90s, when I started with Oni, I was setting up at conventions with like Scott Morse and Troy Nixie and that kind of crew of guys, and those guys were just like the heavy hitter, really talented guys that, like, Scott could kind of stop people dead in their tracks when they would walk by because he'd be doing like full-blown paintings at his table, and that kind of taught me, it's like, if you have like your own style, your own flair, your own way of presentation that kind of catches people's eye, that's a cool thing to have too. I mean, like him and Andrew I was talking to you about, Matteo Scalera, I'm right by those guys. Those guys, just watching them draw and their presentation of how they do all this is exciting, very inspiring.
When I do my layouts, it's so much, you don't really think about, reference and how to, drawing quality so much. It's all about storytelling and stuff. And lots of times I show people my layouts and they're like, you should make a book look like this, but it's
Right.
hard to let go. And so there's something about, that's what I like about Jim's stuff here is like, I wish I could, there's a confidence there that is really cool that I love.
Or stupidity.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it because you're here anyway.
You're like, yeah, your stuff's all right.
Oh,
Take a look.
I feel cool.
Where
Like
are we at here? Okay, so you're starting to ink.
Yeah, so I've kind of worked from, dark or light to dark here, where we've got, just spelled out some of the form, and now I'm gonna put in some of the darker, shadowy areas.
Jim, if this was a race, you'd be far ahead. You'd be lapping him, it seems, because you're working on colors. But tell us exactly where you're at with your drawing.
So this
It's just
cool.
in the. I mean, I cheated because I had the ridiculously oversized black marker. So I'm just
You clearly
chunking,
cheated. You took the shortcut.
Yeah,
But
I
it looks great.
chunking in shapes, and now.
Am I good? You need this, or
No,
you
I'm
good?
You should go for it. Yeah, and then that's why, like, with Jason or with Tommy, I'm always kind of like, why don't you lead the composition, the kind of layout of things. And when I work with Jason, it's almost like he starts pieces and I get this secret thrill out of almost like defacing his work. Like he's doing a fine art thing, and we've done this in like nightclubs and stuff before, but it almost feels like I'm doing something wrong, and that makes it fun. Where he has done this beautiful rendered painting, and I'm just gonna go in and like, you know, scribble on it like a child. But it's you get these results that you would never plan or think out. You know, I like that. It's kind of like I was saying, that unpredictability of it. That can sometimes be a glorious, energized, kinetic thing, or that can like bite me in my ass, and if I ruin it, I have to trash it and start over or whatever, you know.
When you guys do licensed work, Tommy, obviously you're doing licensed work now with the Star Wars covers that you mentioned. Is it easy to be able to do a property like that, where there's so much oversight, and obviously there's parameters that you have to follow, and still imbue it with your own style?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes, I mean, you feel like you're getting hired to do like your work, you know, that you know, so you figure they probably want you to do you, but at the same time, yeah, it's a fine balance where they have to, you know, it has to be the Millennium Falcon or, you know, whatever. So
Yeah, the TIE fighter's got to look like a TIE fighter.
Right.
yeah, but so sometimes it's, so you shake this and it gets the ink going?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, dude, if it's wearing out, I can.
Oh, it's fine. It's
okay.
good. But yeah, basically, this is hard to talk and draw at the same time.
It's a skill. Says the guy who's just over here asking you questions and keeping you from drawing.
But no,
You gotta jump on this, man.
Oh, please.
The last 10 minutes,
you
we'll grab the mic. We'll switch places.
Okay, do you need another black line? I can do a couple of those.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. You've studied enough comic art. You know what you're doing.
I'm really hoping you forget that. What are we going to do at the end?
The headlines on tomorrow's comic book blogs. Charity piece ruined.
Ruined by Mike Avila.
By Mike.
Value of the piece plummets after clueless host defaces word.
I did a lot of work on the first Harry Potter movie, and while I was working on that, some of the stuff got to be frustrating because they were like, or actually licensing stuff would be the Men in Black 2, I think. It like everybody had to have approval over everything, you know. So even the dog had an agent that had to approve my drawings of the dog.
serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
it
a
was
nightmare.
that was tough.
What's up, Chunk?
Couldn't you just like not draw the dog? Okay, you know what? The dog is dead.
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, you got to draw the dog," and then, you know, I like to use color and the stuff, so of course there was a lot of like in the shadows there was like a purple color in his muzzle and stuff, and then the dog's agent or whatever said, you know, he doesn't have any purple in his muzzle, dude. You know, so I had to get rid of and just make it fur color.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Very...
That dog sounds demanding.
Yeah, he's probably dead now.
Rest in peace, rest in peace. Well, that was probably like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Truth be told, before
Yeah.
people start saying Tommy Lee Edwards, you know, hope the Men in Black dog died. He's
No.
definitely dead.
Tommy's
Or he's in the Guinness
Revenge.
Book of World Record.
Tommy's Revenge.
Jim, you've done a lot of work for corporate clients, but I would imagine that's a little different because they're probably coming to you for your style
Yes.
and your unique take on things.
Yes, that's a good position to be in because, like you said, they kind of know what they're getting involved in, what they're, you know, coming on board for. So it's not so much the style or anything. It's just the all of us agreeing on like what the piece is going to be, the composition. But once I get through that phase, it's usually like you get the green light to do the finished piece. So that's an advantage, but also a you know, that could work against you if you have a unique style because
What are these?
unless people, that's a good marker.
Okay.
He says with confidence.
It is.
I think that's a good marker.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes that works
Oh, yeah,
against
yeah.
you because you might lose lots of work if they see your work is so specific to a style. But the people that get it, that want you, you're off and running. It's awesome.
Oh, good for you, Jim.
Dude, come on. Come on, bro. Not all of us can rock the Lucasfilm stuff, you know.
Yeah,
It's funny, you know
while
what's-
you're browsing, Tom, you got to do Harry Potter, Men in Black,
Oh,
Star
yeah.
Wars. Wah. Woe is me. Boo, I'm in demand. Yeah, but
Hey, look,
I understand.
I feel like I'm drawing like Jim now, though, which is kind of fun. You know, when you switch to different tools.
Don't blame me for this.
No, it's cool. I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
Tommy didn't know what he was agreeing to when I asked him to do this. He was like, that's cool, sure.
Sure, we'll sketch something.
I like that attitude, though. Just
When did he tell you what you were going to be doing, Tommy? When you were walking over here?
I mean, well, we kind of. I mean, I knew we'd be drawing something.
yes.
Well, he gave you a lot of detail.
Yeah, that was
Jim,
about
you're a
it.
good friend.
Making it happen.
How long have you guys known each other and been pals?
Really, not that long. Maybe a few years.
Yeah, I don't. We met definitely in passing, like at a show.
Yeah.
I actually bought a print off you.
Oh.
I don't even know when that is, but when that was, but like, you know, we have I have a whole extended family now of
Yeah.
all the people I've met through conventions and fellow artists, and you know, that's one of the upsides of the community is you just wind up meeting some of the coolest people you've ever met. Really, is kind of how I feel about it. What do you think, Tommy?
I'm kind of wishing I had like a big wash of color here. Well, yeah, it's like, and you know, we all have those people that we met when we're starting out. Like I mentioned, Howard, and you know, and Jim was talking about a group of guys like Troy and all those guys, and yeah, it's very much like you have. I don't even know what I'm doing here. All right, let's see. I'm gonna give him. What if he had like a shovel?
I
Yeah.
love how you say you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing here, but you're still doing it.
Yeah,
You know, one of those like military shovels.
I like that.
Yeah, he's got to go use the bathroom, I think is what he's doing. Okay, so, and then this strap here is holding his gun.
Yes.
Okay, sure. But yeah, oh man, it's like, and also the main reason I did this show is so that I could hang out with Jim and Mateo and, you know, Sean Crystal and everybody, you know, I mean, it's so fun, you know, to be able to all see each other.
When would we? It's like, if I quit doing shows, I would almost like lose a whole group of friends in a way. It's a weird thing to say, but we sort of, you know, I depend on these shows to do my thing, promote my work, but also it's like hang time and actually getting out of the studio, being around people and being able to share stories of this weird lifestyle with your fellow artists guys, because you can't really complain about this to non-comics people. Like when I say, oh, I have deadlines, I'm drawing, my friends that have, you know, other jobs are like, dude, you sit in a room and draw all day. Like, you can't complain about anything, you know?
But that comes with that comes its own inherent challenges.
Yeah.
You got to sit in a room all day
Yeah.
and draw.
How about, yeah, I mean, it's like, it is weird when all of a sudden your hobby that, you know, we all grew up doing ends up becoming your job.
Yes.
It's hard to then still have a hobby. Do you find that you have new hobbies, Jim?
No, I don't have time to do anything. My hobby is taking a break in the afternoon and walking to the coffee shop to get a coffee.
Oh.
And then I walk home and draw for 5 more hours.
Assuming you guys draw every day, how much do you draw every day?
I mean, I draw, I basically almost do like an 8-hour workday most days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pretty much, yeah, go, once my daughter goes to school, my wife leaves for work, and, you know, and then I kind of head out to the studio, and my studio's about like 40 yards behind my house. And it's nice to feel like I'm going to a place to go to work. But I've been doing more and more writing lately. So that's sort of like something that sometimes I do at night, you know, or at the kitchen table, you know, so. And it seems like, and also the older I get, I like doing stuff more with other people, like, you know, collaborative stuff. So sometimes even I'll work in the house just so that I can be around the family and stuff. Where before, when the kids were little, I'm like, Daddy's gone, I'm going to work. And now that they're, you know, 20 and 17, I want to be around them.
Sure.
As, you know.
Of course, they're like, no, Dad, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Has the novelty worn off that you're a badass professional artist?
That's never been a novelty.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That was never in vogue with your kid?
No. I mean, I would be like at Toys R Us. Hey, look, there's a train station. Daddy painted the box of that train station. Huh?
Nothing?
No.
Wow. Tough crowd.
I think it's cooler now if you're doing stuff that they're into. And then they're like, oh, you know.
Well, you did Harry Potter. Weren't they into Harry Potter?
They were too young at the time.
These kids.
And Harry Potter.
Man.
Yeah.
No Harry Potter, Star
I'm
Wars?
gonna have a talk with these
I mean,
kids
you're
next
getting
time.
free trips to the theme parks for Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. They're just hateful children.
Okay, so what's going on here? The belt and
Yes. Yeah.
bandana, I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure that out.
Filtered through just my strange style. Yeah, I mean, the photo reference, she has like a cloth dangly thing. The belt, this is supposed to be the cybernetic, the metal arm thing. But as you can tell by this, my childish drawing style, who knows? Who knows what that is? There's a wrench in there somewhere. I
Okay,
don't know.
I'm gonna throw some challenges at you. Okay, I want you to use a toothbrush with some color somewhere on there.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
I'm trying to help Tommy catch up here because you were well ahead of the curve when you used the big thick marker.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, I'm done.
Should have brought 2 of those. Killer job, dude.
Is that what you tell your editor? Hey, when you're on deadline, I'm done. You'll have it tomorrow for sure.
Yeah. No, it's my internet went out.
Right.
Is that the modern day artist excuse
Yeah.
for being late?
Yeah, now it used to be, you know, the FedEx guy got lost.
Yes.
Now it's the internet's out, and you know, and I live in the country, so I could have hit a deer or there's all kinds of stuff I can.
Many excuses.
Sorry, Mr. Sobolski, the Star Wars cover is going to be late because I hit a deer.
Yes. We did you know, you lose power once in a while.
It happens, right? And of course, there's no other place you could ever send the emailed files from, right?
No, because there's like one power thing, and that power thing, if that goes out,
That power.
well, the whole town, the whole state, pretty much.
But in all seriousness, has that ever happened to you? Where
Yes.
power outage has kind of hurt you in delivering a project that was you
Yeah,
know,
one
running
time
up
I was
against
working
it?
on Dinotopia. They did a TV movie kind of thing of Dinotopia. I think it might have been on Sci-Fi Channel at some point. But anyway, we had no power from a storm, so I got a hotel and was working in the hotel room to finish the painting.
Wow.
I brought my computer, my scanner, everything, so they could get the stuff in time.
That is dedication.
Yeah.
That's why he's Tommy Lee.
No job left undone.
It's weird though to think, like when I started in the 90s, everything was done through FedEx.
Yeah.
Like you'd pencil the boards, I'd FedEx them to Oni, they'd FedEx them to the letterer, he would letter directly on the boards, FedEx them back to me, I'd ink them, FedEx them back to Oni.
Wow.
So the FedEx bills, I mean, those are gone now, but it was weird that if something went wrong in the
Yeah.
transition of any of that, any phase of that, there might be a huge problem.
When I hear about that and how it used to happen, you know, going back to like, you know, the 70s, I guess, when that really started becoming the case,
Yep.
I'm stunned that more artwork wasn't lost in transit.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, no pressure. There's 7.5 minutes left.
Jeez, man. What
You're
the
rocking
heck?
it, you're good.
You know what's crazy is that, yeah, I've had art lost in the mail, according to what I told my editor.
Yes.
There are eyes everywhere, Tommy.
All right, Jim, can you finish?
Eyes and ears everywhere.
All right, what I want to do is like spell out some more of this truck here, and then
I feel like all you need to do is add some solid blacks into this, and then it's done.
I want to, but I didn't have any tools.
There you go, bro.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Should have brought 2 of those. Hey, for literally no preparation, I'm stoked. I'm stoked about it.
It's cool, and it's got energy, which, hey, Fury Road was all about the energy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to assume you guys are both big fans of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I did all the covers for the Fury Road comic. And George Miller did this cool thing where to teach me and everyone else that was working on the property about the world, he made these little videos and stuff and would address like the camera and talk to us, and say, this is the aesthetic, this is the technology, this is...
How much did that help you?
Oh, it was amazing.
Were those painted covers or was it pencil and ink?
Those ones were, I did, it's ink and then Photoshop color. So, like, it depends on what I'm working on, but lately I've been doing more film and animation stuff, and on that, I've been working as a production designer on a movie for Carrie Conran, who did Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Nice.
So I do that stuff digitally. Lots of times, it just kind of depends what the project needs. There's a movie called The Book of Eli that I designed. I was the concept artist on that. And that kind of stuff, sometimes digital works really well because, you can do changes, you can do stuff in layers so that you can move stuff around.
Do you get instant feedback when you're doing movie work like that?
It depends who you're working with usually. So it depends on something like, on those projects I mentioned, yes, because I have a close relationship with the directors. But sometimes, like Harry Potter or something, it has to go through a committee. Mm-hmm. And then you don't know really what's going on for like a week.
Well, then it sounds like it makes sense to go digital for that kind of work to make changes.
Yeah.
Now, you're doing production design for this movie with the Sky
With Carrie,
character. That's not exactly storyboarding.
No, sometimes I'll do storyboards too.
I'm just gonna start throwing.
Feel at
paint.
it. Yeah,
I'm just
go. Hey, where's the? Oh, there it is. I'm like backing up, going, oh, that's...
Don't back up too far.
I won't. Thank
I want
you.
you to fall. Because then the painting won't be finished.
I'm always aware of my
And then you have to
surroundings.
sign it.
That's Tommy's outro. He just stage dives off. Whoever's in the
The
front row
ultimate mic
here.
drop.
Whoever's in the front row has to catch us.
Nice speckling over there, Jim. Nice speckling.
Yeah, I
don't even know if
I
that's
came
a term,
through.
but
I came through for you.
You did?
Yeah.
You did. Art on request.
This is an age-old inking secret that I guess still sometimes
I
fascinates.
don't do that. I always do it this way.
Okay. You got the golden touch on that one. It's nice. That's one of those things though that stops people in conventions when they see the toothbrush. Interesting.
Art hacks, man. Who doesn't like a good art hack?
It's awesome.
I've seen like Jim Lee do something with a coffee cup to draw the circles.
Yes. Yeah. Instant template. Instant.
I've seen guys
Circle
use
shape.
grab people's action figures that are still in the box and use those and Funkos and use those to draw shapes
Yes. Okay.
for their drawings.
It's a truck.
It's coming together nicely.
Look, it's a steering wheel.
Dude, you did it.
Oh, I gotta get some of this red going.
Not gonna lie, Tommy, we're a little worried about you making it here, but
It's done,
He's-
basically.
look at that.
He did it.
you did it.
It's done. I mean, you know, just because you don't think it's done.
No, believe me, I think it's done. When do you think it's done? Do you ever think your work is done, and you just have to like pull yourself away, or what?
Sometimes it's hard to not overdo it, you know. Like I was doing I did like 3 Rocketeers this weekend, and one of them that I was doing today, I felt like I was at a point where I really liked it, and then eventually I just kind of overworked it, and I was like, oh no.
Think so?
Huh?
You think so?
Yeah, and then I obliterated a bunch of it, and
Okay.
that's why I was still in the hotel room.
Right.
So.
Well, it sounds like the guy who commissioned that is going to get a really great Rocketeer.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was really fun, and also that's usually a sign that usually the stuff that is most worthwhile is the stuff that was the hardest challenge. So, you know, every once in a while, you luck out, like with Jim and Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you.
He did a cool Spider-Man the other day that was very fast, and then all of a sudden it was like, leave it alone,
Right.
and it works. You know?
Right. I'm gonna, you know, I'm on
90 seconds, by the way. 90 seconds. Hey, while I give you that time there, Tommy, what's the orange about? What are you using it to convey?
I don't know. Highlights a little bit, but then also dark parts.
it's all purpose.
Yeah. And he
all-
obviously has finished using the shovel to bury stuff.
I wish I had my white oil stick.
Oh yeah. I was wishing we had weight.
But you know, for a Sunday exhausted
Yeah.
collabo piece. How's it look back there? It probably looks better from back there.
I hope so.
Well, thanks.
What do you guys
Tom.
think?
Bob,
How does it look?
We are
Time to
available.
go, putting the finishing touches.
We are available for children's birthday parties.
Yes, to
By the
draw
way.
Furiosa. Sure,
Yeah.
exactly for kids' birthday
For
parties.
ridiculously, brutally violent imagery.
That is great.
You can count on Tommy Lee.
Guys, this is fantastic. Jim Mahfood and Tommy Lee Edwards, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
You got to sign your artwork.
Oh yeah, of course.
Can't forget to sign it. This was really great. And a reminder, all this artwork is going to go to C2E2 and next week, and it's going to be auctioned off there for charity. So this is going to be a great piece. Some lucky fans are going to really enjoy this.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, don't forget, keep following the hashtag It's a Fan Thing and hashtag ECCC to find out all the fun that we've had here in Seattle during Emerald City Comicon. And coming up next on the live stage, we are not done. We've got Chris Roberson talking about